podcast. Y'all know me as My Real Heart. I'm sitting here today with
KillaCad, aka Steve, aka Big Cat, aka, well, when I introduce myself as two people, it's just Steven. My name is Steven.
Alright, that's what's up, man. And let them know what you do for a living.
So I'm a rapper and a creative director.
He's a great rapper at that too.
Thank you.
Definitely, man. I listened to a few of his projects. Man's great with poetry, what he do. And outside of that, like songwriting, the choices in the songs that he chooses, he's very creative too. He actually doesn't just do music. From what I've seen, my perspective, he actually directs and he does 3D type visuals on his own music videos, which a lot of rappers really don't get too involved in. They leave that up to the director. So I definitely support you for that, man.
Thank you.
So here's actually first question for you, man, because I really wanted to get started about when I actually met you down in Texas, man. You had actually a great vibe. Like I said, the energy was great. There was a lot of people there who was all moving around. I'm fortunate I can't catch you perform. The only reason why, because I had to do 40 more interviews. Yeah. And Texas was great. Remember, it was hot.
Yeah, and I don't even blame you, man. There was so much going on, man. I was bouncing here and there, going up here, going down here, and I walked everything. So it was like,
oh wow, so you did like me. I walked, I almost had a heart attack down there. No, literally, I was actually, no, you're fine, man. It's cool to laugh about it, but I was actually, I was in the Revolt Club that we was at, and I started having heart palpitations. And the manager I was in at the time, I'm not going to discuss too much, but you know, they really didn't care too much about it, because one of the artists that I met down there was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and actually pull up. I text the manager in the group chat, and they're like, where you at? You supposed to be coming to film this. And I'm like, yesterday you said you lost your voice, and I didn't pressure you. I came down here out of love, so hey, can you at least give me some love? Because I'm sitting at the car, and I'm pulling on my chest, and it feel like literally I'm finna have one. And my blood pressure at that time was real high, around like 170 something. And I texted the person, like, I said, can you bring the car keys to your car? Because they ain't want to trust me being in the car, but like, I didn't understand. It was just a lot of moving weird energy, man. So after that, the artist even texted my phone and said, hey, I'm coming up there. And actually, I'll be over there. And she brought the keys, we sat back, she grabbed me some food. And that was that. When the manager got back in the car, they ain't say nothing to me, asked me how I was doing, and nothing. They waited till the next morning. I was like, you know, still kind of acting different. And like, hey. And I'm like, hey, I'm just throwing this person this gas money to take me back to Dallas Airport. Once they got the gas money, all of a sudden it seemed like the energy came back out. Oh, how you been? How your heart was? I'm like, oh, it's 17 hours past. You worry about my heart?
nah, you're right.
Yeah, so it was an experience for me, but at the same time, I got to meet a lot of great people. So I charge it to the game, you know. At the end of the day, you're going to have ins and outs, but at the end of the day, I feel like it actually works out.
Absolutely. I'm just happy to hear you good now, brother.
I still deal with it from time to time, but it's like I keep aspirins on deck, sugar ones, and actually, as you can see, weights and work out. Because I feel like anxiety, stress can cause a lot of that.
Absolutely.
And when you don't release that energy, the toxins, the endorphins, like you have dopamine, you just have a lot of actually problems, and that's gonna stop you in the long path anyway. Because even if you do reach your goal, health is wealth.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm gonna start off with first. So, man, when it comes to health in our community, like, do you think we actually, as a people, take it a lot serious? Or do you think we just ignore it until it actually gets bad?
Shoot, even when they get bad, we don't necessarily pay a lot of attention to it. You know, it's like, oh, I'm good. And a lot of that is just pride.
Yeah.
Like, I really believe that it's just pride. Like, you know, I watched my grandparents eat whatever they wanted my whole life. You know, they eat, I've eaten soft pork with them, I've eaten all types of beef, lamb, chicken, quail. You know, I've had the whole nine with them, and they're in that. And until my granddad had like his back operation, he was playing golf with us.
Oh wow!
Like up until he was about in his 70s.
Oh wow! Hey, that's actually a great action.
Yeah, you know.
I can move like that in my 70s, because I'm getting close to the 40s, and I still.
No, I hear you, bro. It's really just, it's more or less just, you know, being attentive and you know, they eat candy, man. My grandpa always had a drawer full of candy for me and him, and it's like, it's just really moderation, eating at the right times.
Correct.
You know,
Food preparation, how much you eat.
yeah, not eating until you can't eat no more.
Correct.
Just eating your meal, and you know, once you start feeling yourself getting a little, stomach get a little tight, you know, let it go. It's okay. Just let it go.
And that's what the thing. Another thing, like in our community, a lot of people don't notice. Like, food is at a high time cost right now, but it's not even real food anymore. Everything is processed, or most of it is actually GMO, genetically made, and or clone meat.
Yeah.
Like even the chicken, the steroids. Like now, I literally look at it. I remember chicken wings used to be the size of a finger. Now they're the size is like this big, and I'm like, those are not chicken wings.
Yeah.
And even in steak don't taste the same too much anymore. Fruit, seedless. I never knew you could make a fruit without planting the seed, because that's how things harvest and grow.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
and that's why I says, like, it's all about what are they actually doing out here, man.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I've kind of like backed away a little bit more from fast food, especially like McDonald's and stuff. And like I've kind of had more of a kick for, like, you know, cooking and preparing my own meals. And like,
That's great.
even though it's still pumped up with GMOs, I'm not going here and buying the, you know, the what do they call it, the organic stuff. I don't do all of that stuff a whole lot, but at the same time, it's like that stuff is just as genetically modified as
That's what I was
everything
gonna
else.
say. Everybody always look and say, look at the package, it's organic. Yeah, it could be organically made. It couldn't actually be straight from the earth. And that's the thing. We won't know until we actually go out there and plant our own crops and sow our own seeds.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing we should get into as a community, because we don't have any grocery stores that we can go to.
No.
And the ones that we do go to, I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. Stop telling other people like ourselves, it doesn't matter what race you is, stop underbuying our customers, man. Stop telling people, can I get it for the low? You can pay for everything else high. You can pay for something that actually this person is actually enduring, and it's gonna make your life better.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Actually, I'm wearing this shirt right now from
Oh, get up and show the camera, man.
Yeah, cool, man. This is. I wish I would have brought the tote with me, man. This is No ID. Shout out my boy Dan, Whisper Dan, man.
Y'all see that, man? That's definitely great.
You know, it's a lot of that is the fact that, like, and to that point, you know, spending thousands of dollars on clothes, and like this shirt was $30, man.
This shirt was $2.
Like I you know, I actually just made a post about it today, and like some shirts that I bought, all of those shirts were under $60. You know what I'm saying? They're all from somebody that I know. You know what I'm saying? We have reached a point where everybody around us is making something, so why not invest in that? Like my whole closet, and that my goal is to have my whole closet filled with everything made, and with everything in it, it is from somebody that is from here.
And that's actually a great point, because we spend so much money that on the costly economically, literally on things that we can no longer, that actually don't even invest back in our community. Louis Vuitton, liquor, dispensaries, that's another thing that I want to get into. Like, do you think that dispensaries actually helping us or actually destroying us? And the reason I say that, because have you noticed it's only really in the poverty areas.
It's the new liquor store.
Exactly.
It's the same way that
legal cocaine is what I would call it, because personally, it stops you from getting a job, and that keeps poverty. Most places is not drug testing anymore, but that's only for low-income jobs.
That is true. That is true. And like I dabble in dispensaries every now and then, and you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I used to myself. But
yeah.
It's just.
And but you're making a good point, and it's like, you know, it's now like it used to be a church and a liquor store in every corner of the city. Now it's a dispensary and a liquor store in every corner of the city. And with a broken down church.
Like we just heard that. Y'all can probably hear that. That's actually silence, as you say. A liquor store. I was familiar growing up in Detroit, Finkel for one. I seen, you know, liquor stores on every other corner, but now you got dispensaries that's outweighing liquor stores. You can actually pass by a dispensary and see another dispensary and another dispensary and another dispensary. And you're like, what do you need 5 dispensaries on one corner for? Only thing is they don't put them too close to schools, but it ain't like the kids can't come get them, because now it's like a lot of dispensaries, they don't even ID. Some of them do, but most of them don't. And that's what makes it bad in this community. I'm only doing this for actually another mic just to make sure. I should have done this first. But I can always edit everything out. That's what I will do. But as I say, dispensaries, man, it's like it's taking over our community. And I feel like it's destroying it in my perspective. It actually does help because people who do have mental health can actually, they may smoke for the deal with depression. But I used to smoke a lot too. And at first it did help my depression. But over time, more consumption is not, as we said earlier, with food, is not good for you.
Yeah. Anything not done in moderation could be damaging.
Correct.
Alcohol, food, drugs. Shoot.
Even
how much, whatever, the things you watch, that's, if you don't have moderation in any of that, it's going to have an effect on you.
That's true.
So,
that is definitely true. And I would say, like, even as you say, the things you watch, the eyes is the windows to the soul, so, and the ears are too. So whatever you listen to, like music is controlled by power wave frequencies. A lot of people don't know that. So it's like water. So the body is 70% water. So things that you listen to, it does influence you. And the things that you watch, it actually does influence you as well. Another thing I want to get into is about, do you think the children these days, because I'm sure you noticed, last week in Detroit alone, it was 20 people that got shot.
Yeah, man.
And then the week before that, there was 9 children who got shot at a water park from an open mass shooter. And most of the people, the killing, I'm not saying it's not happening with our age people, but it's usually the young age from youth to 26. And yesterday, just a 24-year-old here in Saginaw got killed by a 15-year-old. Yeah. He shot 3 people, but 1 man died. What is some ways that we can actually help the youth actually put the guns down and actually, I'm only going to say fight, but actually educate them to actually know that killing is not going to stop anything. It's just actually going to bring more violence. Like awareness to our community. What's some things you think we can do?
At this point, that's kind of like asking how to solve the world. I truly believe that, and I'm not saying that like it's hopeless or nothing like that, but it's really gonna have to just starting in the home.
Family
like,
structure.
It's really and and I even go as far as to say, people are younger people who are getting older and becoming adults and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't ready to have no baby, don't have no baby.
That's a fact, man. Y'all heard that?
If you ain't because why are you bringing a kid in here knowing that you ain't got stuff structured, knowing you ain't never going to be able to be around your kids, you got to work, or you tired, you don't want to be around your kid. Those things come, but when you have a certain level of maturity, that stuff is easier to cope with.
Correct.
And it's easier to become more patient with.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be around your kid, you want to have an impact on your child, you want to be there for your child and go to their events. And help them become a better, not even a better person, but help them become the person that they want to become. And instead we're letting social media raise children. And
and that's what I actually had up there on the board. Social media, like right now, I believe it's actually really bringing sex to the community at an early age. You have actually kids out here who actually would rather do content to sell themselves and actually get a job. You haven't even went out and actually seen because you actually try and do better. The first thing you're looking at is, hey, I can actually make money by actually selling myself, not knowing that leads to, if you do it in the wrong way, it can actually exploit you, stop you from getting a job. People look at you different, it's tearing you down. And then on top of that, let's go on if you actually having physical sex. You're actually all the AIDS is going on, STDs.
Even beyond just that aspect of it, the abuse and violence that comes with it, whether you meet somebody in person or not, people can pull up your address nowadays. You know what I'm saying? People, they gonna call you this and that, and then they gonna abuse the heck out of you online, and then sexual violence is just ridiculous at this point. The rate is way too high, and it's like a lot of that comes from the fact that back to the parenting thing. We don't know our value, and because we're being raised by social media and how social media is being skewed for us value is only being seen in the body.
That's true.
You know,
like
physical attraction and you know, sex, drugs, money.
that's all that sells.
Like,
I feel like as black men, one thing that we can do is actually, get with mental health. That's another thing there, which a lot of people we don't want to address. We don't want to see that we have mental health problems like bipolar, depression. With the black family, I feel like we keep a lot of things indoors and behind doors that needs to actually be addressed. Again, molestation, bullying, parents is actually beating their children for no reason. We got kids that's getting killed. You turn on the TV, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds getting murdered because some mothers or fathers don't know how to handle their anger that they haven't addressed as a child. And when you don't address those issues, it creates more drama. You have to actually sit back and self-reflect and be like, hey, I understand that I did go through that, but if I don't get help, I'm gonna put my child through that.
absolutely.
And
You not being able to open up about that stuff, especially as you get older, you just become an embodiment of your trauma.
correct.
And that is something that we have to kill. And you know, I know we talked earlier this week about like, you know, the future and stuff, and I said that, you know, I'm kind of done talking about what I've been through. I've acknowledged that I've been through it, but I'm so focused on wanting to be more than my trauma. You know, I'm so ready to speak about the things that will come and that I want to make, you know, that I want to make happen. You know, I really want to make certain things happen for the betterment of not just black people, but all people. And you know what I'm saying? And that matters, you know, and that's where our focus needs to be. But if you never have that chance to leave that stuff and work through that stuff, not just leave it. If you leave it, you're not doing anything for it.
That's I like how you said that. Working through it, not leaving it. Because if you leave something, it's still going to be there. But if you work through it, you can actually learn a solution and get rid of it for good. And as you say, man, like, that's another thing. I feel like we should actually build centers more. Like, even if we don't have the money to build centers, we can actually have like public group meetings and discussions about things that can actually help one another.
Absolutely.
Because you go on social media can tear a person down in a matter of minutes, and then their whole reputation, whatever they built, could be based on lies. And now we don't even look at facts or evidence anymore. We just look at popularity or what's said. And that alone has got so many children killed, so many young ones actually out here shooting, picking up guns because they're afraid to go home. Some people are afraid to go to school. Children should never be afraid to get actually education.
Absolutely. Children shouldn't be afraid to do
anything. Nothing. I used to look around when I came up seeing people on playgrounds, have fun. Now, the playground is at phone.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people that can go at least more than 2 hours without putting that phone down. And you're like, oh man, we found something on the phone. You can get out and walk and find something. You don't need that phone. You don't need directions. But it has been embedded in us that we need it. And you remember a couple months ago when like AT&T went down?
Yeah.
Service, everybody started to panic. It was more going on than that, but that was the biggest focus because people feel like if I can't make that phone call, I can't get to work. I can't do that. But at the end of the day, you can do a lot more than just actually that. When that phone goes down, that gives you time to actually reevaluate. Because in the 60s, they didn't have phones. I went around.
Right.
But I know they didn't have phones. I know they didn't have internet, and somehow they actually, I'm not gonna say did better, but they stood together more.
They had thriving communities.
Correct.
They had thriving communities. I'm actually been doing a lot of like research in terms of like looking back into communities that were built by black people, and the amazing things black people have done solely just for this country. Like been just wiped from history, and it's like
even cities on it actually lakes.
Yeah.
And then that's another thing, like one of my favorite movies is like American Gangster. But one thing he said to Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe said to him, he said, it's not who you are, it's they hate what you represent. You represent progress. A progress that's going to keep them from making a lot of money. With you gone, everything can return back to normal.
Right.
And that's how I look at it as Black Wall Street was actually destroyed. All the cities have actually been destroyed. we had a community where when Black Wall Street had, we was making millions of dollars alone. We didn't have our own doctors, own nurses, own lawyers, own police, own judges. Now we have them, but we have them under a system that we do not actually technically
That's not made for us.
correct. And children actually racist, and we're not here to play the race card because everyone, as we said before, everyone actually faces some type of destruction that they go through. But most black kids are actually charged 4 times more than any other race.
Yeah. It's a system built against predominantly the black race, but all races, all minority races. This was a system built against us. Like, it's literally fighting against us. And I'm not want to be like, oh, turn the white man down.
Correct. Absolutely.
You know, it's not about being that radical. We're in it's a different time, and we have so much more power now.
We do.
And the thing is, we have means to protect it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when those moments do come, well, you know what I'm saying, we got stuff too now. So, hi. But
you make a great point, man.
But you know, it's now about bringing back the mom and pop shop type of feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do this, all right. Well, I do this. You know, trade and barter. You know, you plant gardens. Okay, well, I have a whole water system. You know, like it's ways we can really bring that stuff back. And that was destroyed when, you know, they brought in a whole wave of drugs to destroy communities and, you know, jails to take out, you know, parents and
And as you were saying back then, that's another thing. As we need to stop selling our work before it actually, because we'll have something great and we'll sell it just to make money, not knowing that it's really nothing that we made. Because you can sell everything, but if you continue to sell it, you won't have nothing to pass down to generations and generations. I mean, money's not everything. At the end of the day, yeah, they pay bills, and we already know that. They pay a car note, you may get the clothes and shoes, but if you actually get out of the mindset of all that, what do you really have to yourself is the question. Because if that's all you're doing it for, is great. They always get out of poverty, live in a better life, put your children in better housing, better schools. But is that going to stop anything from happening?
Exactly. And like, even to that point, like, there is monetary value has become more important than the value of legacy. There is no value in legacy anymore. And you know that, and it's only when it comes to us.
Correct.
That's what I find very funny. You know, these big corporations.
Funny anymore. I find it very sad because we continue.
Like you know, people talk about like with the LeBron stuff, they talk about the nepotism and stuff. Mm-hmm. All of these big companies have given their companies down to their kids and their kids and their kids. These companies have been they one family for hundreds of years almost.
Millions. Some of them been back since AD, after death.
Yeah.
And as you say, hundreds of years, and they pass it down. We pass down trauma. We pass down actually burdens. It's a few communists that actually help the community. But when we get rich, the first thing we say, we can't actually help somebody. Like they say, crabs in a bucket. Oh no, he can't be better than me. When actually we all doing the same thing and we all at a great level of success, once we all stand together, can't no one stop us. But that's the first thing, trying to stand together. Without looking at, oh, he's light-skinned, I'm dark-skinned. He's actually, he's half-breed, I'm mixed. It doesn't matter about that. At the end of the day, the more and more we tear each other apart, we actually doing their job for themselves. And it's a